Hey, what's up? Jay, and I am here doing a late review, and yes, I am late. Late review for Raising Kanan. I believe this was episode 5. I'm going to do a review for this, but prior to doing that, thank you for watching. Appreciate your time being here. If you aren't, give us a subscribe, a like, a comment, and follow. Hit the notification bell. We really appreciate it. We're just trying to grow the channel and, talk about the things we love and, like doing it with you. So appreciate it if you can. Let's get into this review. I am late as hell with this, but didn't have a choice. I had to, but I want to get it in and, get that in prior to, this week's episode coming up. So, but yeah, a lot happened in this week's episode, a fair amount, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take it character by character and just kind of break down what happened with these characters and then lead up to the conclusion of the episode. So, a good place to start with this episode would be, let's start with Juke. You know, Juke had the whole situation previously with her and Marvin. They caught a body, or she caught a body. And Marvin was seeing how she was dealing with that and whatnot, and she's like, "Hey, I'm cool." You know what I mean? Like, I'm used to this. He thinks the military changed her. She's like, "Nah, I got this from seeing y'all on a regular basis," which makes sense. You can be molded by your environment, so that makes total sense. But not a lot went on with Juke this episode, to be perfectly honest. Like, that happened, and I believe, I think that was it, because I believe the whole thing with her and Crystal was the previous week. So yeah, that was pretty much it with her. Let's see, Kanan. Let's talk about Kanan. So Kanan, outside of, actually, him and Juke went and talked to Famous's mother. They did do that. You let her know, we're going to try to find Famous. Kanan was talking to OC because OC is pointing out the fact that Kanan has been, he's been essentially, he's been stiffing rock, taking a little bit off the top. As far as money, he's been hiding it in a self-storage facility, and he's been doing this since the spot got crashed by Unique last episode, which we seen it ended that way, and whatnot. So you have that going on. Well, no, the episode before last actually with OC, but OC's still around, and he's Kanan skimming off the top. And the only other very, very pertinent thing that happened with Kanan was Kanan and Juke, while still speaking with Famous's mother, they get a page and kind of find out Grandma Joyce has taken a fall at home, because she's not doing good. She got cancer, she has terminal cancer. So they go there and they make sure that she is, they call an ambulance on for her, make sure she's taken care of, notify the family, and essentially everybody shows up except for Rock. Like, they imply that Marvin's on the way. Lulu shows up, but Rock, no. Let's see. Outside of that, we have. Let's talk about Lulu whilst we're here. He's on his music grind. Truthfully, trying to find new acts and whatnot. And is her name Irene? Miss Okoye. You know what I'm saying? She's taking him to meet new groups and whatnot. So you have, first she takes him to, there's a rap duo, and he's like, yo, that old school, like, it's not that good. I'm not really feeling it, you know what I'm saying? Understandably so, but he wasn't feeling that. So she took him, I guess, to another showcase. And there was a white rapper that, like, honestly, at first glance, right away, I thought it was Logic. I thought it was Logic at first, honestly. But it wasn't. But it was somebody that he was interested in working with. So she kind of kept it on deck. Then finally, and there was a little thing in this final piece. There was a group of like 4 or 5 rappers, and they all in this little apartment and they're spitting and whatnot. Now, one of the rappers in there is actually a pretty prominent battle rapper by the name of DNA. Started rapping, I believe he started battle rapping when he was like 15, 16. I want to say 16. And I mean, back on URL, King of the Dot, like all these, like he's been on all the leagues. He's one of the most viewed battle rappers ever, if not the number one. Only other person that might have more than this Arsenal, I believe. Um, and it's really good to see, like, because I started watching him way back then, so it's good to see him now. He's made it up to TV. He's done stuff with WWE, BT, all that stuff. And it's good to see somebody come from that and make it and be pushing and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, that's a good thing. So shout out to DNA. Drink water, get money. That's his brand. Drink water, get money. And salute to you, man. It's a good look. Came a long way. But he's part of that last and final group. I believe he was the one who rapped second. And Lulu is really feeling that group. So, it seems like they're going to aim to try to get to lock them in and whatnot. So that's pretty much what Lulu. And eventually he ends up getting some yams, you know what I'm saying? And from Mr. Koya in the episode. So that was cool. That was going on here. Marvin just kind of he kind of had a tough, so him and Rock went to talk to Terry and David. They're the ones who do the transports for the material for their product. And then, Terry's like, I don't want to do it. I'm not working with you guys no more. Rock tells him to handle it, but she tells him to be smart about it. When he goes to talk to Terry, Terry gets a little bit beside himself, says, I'm not doing it, and starts threatening to go to the police. Not the best thing to do, because your boy Marvin, he's out of here. Terry's gone now. You know what I mean? Because which is a bad thing, but at the same time, they still have David that they could possibly work with as far as transportation of product, but that's still not smart. But I understand, like, he has to deal with it. But I think that's foreshadowing for something else too. So that's that whole thing. That's pretty much what Marvin was doing this episode, honestly. And he had an interaction. So when Grandma Joyce, when she goes back home, when she's in the hospital, she's like, yo, this morphine just helps me go to sleep. It just helps me sleep. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much trying to imply to him, she kind of wants him to assist her, in transitioning. And there's a point where she's back home, he's helping and everything, and he has morphine, and he wants to do it. He can see she's in pain, and he's at the point where he might, and then he doesn't. And she kind of has this reaction where, she gets angry at him, like, you can't, and he's like, I'm sorry. And she's like, Marvin, sorry. All this. So you just kind of antagonizing and picking out. But I think she was trying to, I'm not gonna say rightfully so, but, like, I guess I can understand that. Also, is she trying to antagonize and push him to do it? But, like, that has to be, like, one of the, toughest positions to really kind of be in. You know what I mean? Like, do you end somebody's suffering that you love, like your mother? Like, do you do that if they're suffering so much? Could you bring yourself to do that? Is that even the right thing to even attempt to try to do if they want you to? You know what I mean? Like, it can be, yeah. So that's a tough situation for him. But that's what he was going through, Now we got Rock. So Rock, pretty much this whole episode is she's trying to get her business handled. You know what I mean? She's trying to nail that whole thing down. She's trying to now her and Quan are no longer working together, just due to, the differences. So Quan was always a unique guy, and he didn't respect Rock in the first place. And now they kind of got into it over the respect, and they severed their business relationship. So Rock definitely needs, to become the plug now. So she goes and she talks to I believe the guy's Afghan, to say, hey man, I need some product. I need to become, this distro. And he's like, look, if I'm gonna do this, because, things happen over territory. That's a war start over. If I'm gonna do this, then I need to know that this is gonna start a war. So he's like, I need to meet A, B, and C, and these people need to, we need to piece together. Because if I'm gonna give you all this, and this product is actually already taken for somebody else, you know what I mean? So I need to know that it's gonna be smooth sailing if I decide to do this for you. So she's trying to set that up. You have the whole thing with Terry that she doesn't know about yet, but she's dealing with the transport issues there. It's a whole tough thing that she's going through right now. Pernissa's pulling up on her because Unique's been dropping money in the mailbox for her, but she thinks that hits Rock, me trying to pay off, because she thinks that Rock has something to do with, Unique being, as she perceives, out of here. So Rock is kind of going through a lot on top of dealing with the stuff with her mother that she's not really dealing with, to be perfectly honest. So that whole thing's going on. Now let's get to the boy Unique. Unique out here, he putting him together a little army. You know what I mean? Like he got his number guy in early that's took over the spot that Sorvino's homeboy that Marvin knocked off. Early got that spot now. You know what I mean? So that's Early doing that. He's trying to get, I believe the guy's name is Ross, the Selly's homeboy that he was just trying to talk to see if he'll back him to going after Rock and whatnot. And pretty much he told him, hey, look, not right now, but you get your stuff together, come back. Hey, we can do some things. You know what I mean? So like he got, he's working on that. And now he turns around and he goes and he reveals himself to Quan, right? So now Quan's like, oh, you're back. You know what I mean? Like, I bet. You know what I'm saying? Like, now I'm back. I'm set. I just got rid of Rock. Now you're here. All right, cool. So that's all working out. Everything's working out in his favor at this point. Like, he's getting ready to be able to spin around and be like, yo, and be like, yo, and just pop out and show him. You know what I mean? So that's working against Rock. And now Unique's going to be a problem. He has everything he needs just about. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's getting ready to be back to being able to do everything that he needs to do. So yeah, like the water kind of closing in on Rock per se. Rock and Marvin, I'll say those are finna have some big problems. And truth be told, I feel the biggest issue is gonna come. I think Kanan's gonna end up working with Unique because he don't know Unique. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't know that. And I think some kind of way that's gonna end up happening. You know what I mean? How? Don't know. I just have a feeling. It makes sense that would be something that could possibly happen. You know what I'm saying? So, and then the biggest part of the episode, young boy in the convenience store decides to grab a 40 ounce and take off. Now, side note, little boy takes the beer, takes off running. Now, at a convenience store, at least where I'm from, like, they might chase you out the store, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I ain't never stole no 40. You know what I'm saying? I'm guessing they're like $33 or $4. I don't know. I don't drink 40s and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah. But, yo, dude chased him about 4-5 blocks down alleys and into a building over that. Like, I was like, oh, man, I already know what's finna happen because this is too in depth. But anyway, so they're running. He ends up hiding. Anyways, they end up finding the body under a mattress. Looked like it's been there a while. Now, given the timeline of things, Famous has technically kind of been gone a little more than 3 to 6 months in that range. I'm not actually sure because of the backlog and the jump forward and stuff. And then they went and the mother identified the body, said it's Famous. Here's the thing. I'm not saying it's not Famous. Everybody thinks it's not Famous online. I see it like this because the one thing I will say is that the officer said, hey, the ID was on the body, but we haven't ID'd him yet by dental. So it could be something happening. They doing it to make it seem like Famous is, deceased. That's totally possible. But I think that's realistic. No, you just had the whole thing with Unique. Even though that was revealed at the end of last season, it's being implemented this season. So I think that's a little bit drastic to have this happen twice in the same season. You know what I mean? So I don't necessarily think that's the case, but if it is, okay, because as we know with Power, if you don't see a body, there you go. People still sitting here running around waiting for ghosts because we never seen a conclusion to that. Technically, even though we did. So yeah, Famous is about it here. And that's where I think now the whole thing's about figuring out who is the person that took out Famous. I have my thoughts. I'm gonna flesh them out, and I'm gonna do I'll probably end up doing a video or a short on that within the next couple of days. But I definitely have an idea of somebody that I think took out Famous. And I tell you, I don't think it's Marvin, like everybody else does. But it could be. I'm not gonna say that's not like he's actually the favorite, but I have a different theory. I just need to work it through first before I say it. So I'll probably drop that tomorrow or something like that. So, but that is my review of Raising Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, episode 5. So thanks for watching. Like I said, we enjoy you being here watching this and enjoying our content. Give us a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell for more notifications. And I will see y'all in a few days because, like I said, I was late as hell with this one in the first place. But I'll see you then.